August 24th, 79 AD. By noon, 20,000 people were still alive. By midnight, Pompeii no longer existed. No warning, no evacuation, no survivors in the city center. What you are about to hear is not legend. Every detail is documented, every name is real. Every moment happened exactly as you are about to hear it. This is what happened. On the last day of Pompeii, to understand what was lost, you need to understand what existed. Pompeii was not a small village, it was not a forgotten outpost on the edge of the Roman world. It was one of the most sophisticated cities in the known world, a city of 20,000 citizens, paved streets worn smooth by centuries of sandals and wagon wheels, running water fed by a network of lead pipes and stone aqueducts, restaurants, bakeries, theaters, bathhouses, brothels, a city where politicians argued in the forum, merchants haggled in the market, and children played in the same streets that would become their graves. That morning, the 24th of August, was a Roman holiday, the Festival of Vulcan, the god of fire and the forge, the god of volcanic destruction. Nobody found that ironic. They should have. Because Vesuvius had been sending warnings for 16 years. A major earthquake in 62 AD had cracked buildings across the city. Statues had fallen, temples had crumbled. The Romans repaired them, rebuilt them, moved on. In the weeks before the eruption, the wells had run dry, not slowly, suddenly, overnight. Animals had disappeared from the fields. Dogs, birds, livestock, gone. Small tremors shook the ground every single day. The earth itself was screaming. But the Romans were builders, not believers in omens. They looked at the cracks in the walls and saw a construction problem. They repaired the damage and moved on. At 1 p.m. on August 24th, Vesuvius detonated. Not a gradual eruption, not a slow build, a detonation. The pressure that had been building for decades released in a single catastrophic instant. The explosion was heard 200 kilometers away. Windows shattered in Naples, boats capsized in the bay, a column of ash, gas, and superheated rock exploded upward 33 kilometers into the sky, higher than modern commercial aircraft fly, higher than the clouds, a pillar of destruction, visible for hundreds of kilometers in every direction. For the first hour, many people did not panic. The ash fell softly, like gray snow. It drifted down slowly, coating the streets, the rooftops, the windowsills. Some people collected it in their hands, curious. Children played in it. Merchants covered their goods and waited for it to stop. But those who understood what they were seeing ran. They ran to the sea. They ran to the roads. They ran without looking back. A Roman admiral named Pliny the Elder, one of the most educated men in the empire, commanded a fleet stationed across the bay. He saw the eruption column and made a decision that would cost him his life. He sailed towards it, not to flee, to observe, to rescue survivors, to document. He got close enough to feel the heat from the shore. He never came back. His nephew, Pliny the Younger, watched everything from across the bay. He was 17 years old. His written account, 2 letters sent to the historian Tacitus, is the only eyewitness record we have of what happened that day. Every detail we know came from a teenage boy who watched his uncle sail towards his death. By 3 p.m., the ash was no longer drifting. It was falling at 15 centimeters per hour. Rooftops began to groan under the weight. Then crack, then collapse. The streets were filling like trenches, like graves dug by the mountain itself. People wrapped cloth around their faces to breathe. They tied pillows to their heads with rope to protect themselves from the pumice stones raining from the sky. Some sheltered inside, some fled into the streets. Neither choice would save them. Because sometime after midnight, the eruption column collapsed. The mountain could no longer sustain the weight of what it had thrown into the sky. And when it fell, it became something else entirely. A pyroclastic surge, a wave of superheated gas, ash, and pulverized rock, moving at 700 kilometers per hour, temperature between 250 and 300 degrees Celsius. There was no running from it. There was no door thick enough to stop it. There was no wall strong enough to hold it. It moved faster than sound. Every living thing in its path died in under 1 second. 6 surges hit Pompeii that night. The 4th one was the one that ended everything. By dawn on August 25th, Pompeii was gone, buried under 6 meters of ash and pumice, erased from the surface of the earth. From the sea, there was no sign it had ever existed. No rooftops, no smoke, no sound. But what the ash did next was extraordinary. It sealed the city, perfectly, completely, permanently. Bread still in the ovens, carbonized but intact. Wine still in the cups on the tables, graffiti still on the walls, love notes, political insults, jokes that nobody would read for 1700 years, jewelry still in the drawers, coins still in the purses, and people exactly where they fell, not scattered, not disturbed. Frozen in their last position, sealed inside a cocoon of hardened ash. A mother crouched over her child, arms wrapped around her. A man face down, hands covering his eyes. Two people side by side holding hands. They didn't run, they didn't separate, they chose to face the end together. Pompeii was not just a city that died. It became the most detailed, most intimate photograph of ancient life ever taken, a freeze frame of a single morning in 79 AD, and it was taken in the worst possible way. Pompeii was rediscovered in 1748, nearly 1700 years after it vanished. Archaeologists arrived expecting ruins. They found a city. Today, a third of Pompeii remains unexcavated, buried, waiting. Archaeologists believe hundreds of bodies are still beneath the ash. Every year, new rooms are uncovered, new frescoes, new streets, new objects, new names carved into walls by people who had no idea they were writing for the future, new last moments. The last day of Pompeii never really ended. It is still being found.